In our second key matchup of the last week, two teams that are steeped in tradition. They are some of the two most passionate rugby teams ever. Ireland and Scotland will be clashing. Yes, there are so many weird, wonderful, interesting, strange permutations that can come from this game, where Ireland can crash out of the World Cup depending on the result. Scotland can crash out of the World Cup depending on the result, and South Africa can crash out of the World Cup depending on the result. That said, we've got a very interesting clash on our hands. Scotland have shown enterprising rugby in recent months, and they can be spectacular at times. It is lovely to see this kind of free-flowing rugby from a Scotland team. The inspirational captain, Jamie Ritchie, should be back for the Ireland clash, and him and the forwards are going to be needed in a big way to cause a potential upset here. Their scrums are competitive, they are good at rucks, and they are exceptional when they are competing in the lineouts. In the backline, you know that Finn Russell will be creating opportunities, and that he's got some of the most dangerous runners in world rugby in that backline. And the way that he times passes and the way that he just puts people into space, there can be a lot of territory going there, and there can be a couple of spectacular tries that come from that Scottish backline. Scottish goal kicking has also been on point, so if they get into the Irish half and Ireland infringes, there can be points on the board. So they do have a well-rounded, solid attack, solid defence. I don't think Scotland's going to be a pushover in any way. And they've got a chance of causing the upset here. But then you get Ireland. Ireland didn't become the world number one by chance. It wasn't by luck. It wasn't that anybody else was bad. Ireland have just been amazing. They're brilliant. You have to say it. You have to admit it. Any rugby enthusiast can see that. You can talk about their lineouts. You can talk about their scrums, their ruck speed, the numbers that they commit to rucks and don't commit to rucks. They don't overcommit. Their goal kicking and many other facets that make them a brilliant and nearly flawless team in so many aspects. But there are three things that I think really stand out in the Irish game. The first one is they always put up a defensive effort that makes it almost impossible for other teams to score. Second one is they are more disciplined than any other team at this World Cup and any other team in world rugby at the moment. If you just look at it, I think it's now 2 yellow cards in 26 or 27 matches. I'm not sure of that exact match number, but it's somewhere around there. And if you look at how it's been raining cards at this World Cup, that makes it even more spectacular. So they keep their discipline regardless of what happens. The last one, which I think is very important and what they're going to need against a fairly unpredictable Scottish team, is they adapt and they find a way. It is often the case that you have to wait for halftime and get the input from the coaches to really see a team change their approach from one half to the next. And yes, I do believe Andy Farrell actually brings a lot of value to those team talks at halftime. But this team and their brain trust that they have has a way of applying themselves. If it's the 5th minute or it's the 75th minute, they know how they need to adapt to actually get the result. So that is something that very few other teams have and that Ireland has in droves. Scotland do have a chance, but sadly they need to go through the fortress, which is Ireland, to get there.